Hi, everyone. I'm Anita. Happy New Year. It is January 1st of 2026. It's the first day of our fabulous new year ahead. And I'm really excited about 2026. So excited that I wore my sparkly celebration top today. And I'm just really excited for all the things that I've learned over the years in doing QHHT and becoming a practitioner, and how each year seems to change the work a little bit. New approaches with stories, new unveilings. So many interesting and exciting things seem to be coming to the surface as we move forward in this amazing modality. It's also a wonderful time to think about doing hypnosis and helping you to have a fantastic year in 2026. I think this can be the opportunity for you to finally figure out what is stopping you. What are those blocks? Is there anything in your way of reaching success in your family life and your relationships or even your career? So what is it that you need? What is that action plan that you need to move forward and have a super year? I know there's a lot of noise around us and there's a lot of stuff happening, but what's really important is for you to focus on you. And always got to remember, you're the director, you're the star in the role. This is your movie. And what can you do to assist yourself to make sure that your movie is a success at the box office? Well, past life regression is one of those things that you can do to make sure that you have a successful year. So I wanted to share a little story with you about Micheal. And this was a client that I had in 2025. And of course, the name has changed and the gender so that we protect our clients. And I wanted to tell you an interesting little story because this to me was a very good example to show you how QHHT can open up the doors in 2026. So Micheal came to see me in last year. Funny, now I'm saying last year. It's only the first day of the new year. Came to see me last year and he was really stuck and very upset. And Micheal was a civil engineer and he'd worked really hard. He had done his master's. He had gone to, university, working hard to get high marks, doing types of all these extra types of programs to really sell himself in the civil engineer market. And he was very passionate about what he did and he'd worked very hard. He put out a lot of applications. It was difficult to get a good job. There was a lot of competition, and he was always trying to work his way up the ladder and do better and better. So he had basically landed this amazing job. He was being paid the most money that he'd ever been paid. He was in a leadership type position. He had a lot of responsibility, but it was still very creative and very open to giving him the opportunity to mold and create this position within his company. So a wonderful spot to be, and also a great position where he could see a future and molding his future as he moved forward. But he had one problem. Micheal and his boss did not get along, and they constantly were at loggerheads. They were always arguing, they were always debating. And this was really wearing him down. He felt like he could never do anything right. Everything that he wanted to do, his boss would always, shut down. They never had a conversation. It was always an argument. It always got very heated. And Micheal was losing sleep. Micheal was getting a lot of anxiety, and Micheal felt like he was going to get fired very soon. He couldn't work well anymore. He was just, having a lot of nervousness and tension. And just every time he took a step, he just felt like his boss was going to be down his throat and he was going to do the wrong thing. So he really was creating an atmosphere for himself that was very toxic and having a really difficult time. So that's why he came to QHHT. So he told me that his boss hated him and, what was he going to do when he had worked really hard to get to this position. He was making really the best money he had ever made in his career, and he saw it all going away. So, okay, so in the interview, we talked about everything that he was experiencing and the emotions and the conflicts and how he felt and how this was, he was not sleeping and all the anxiety and all the challenges around it. So Micheal and I, we formulated a series of questions so that once that he was in hypnosis, that we could really get down to the root of why this conflict kept happening. So we put Micheal into hypnosis and we started asking him all the questions. So what the summary of the answers that was of what Micheal received in his hypnosis was actually very simple, very eye-opening. So what Michael's subconscious or his higher self told him was that the reason why Michael's boss is always yelling and screaming at him is because Michael's boss deals very logically. So he's a very logical type guy, black and white. He's got to have numbers, got to have facts, has to see everything from a very factual point of view. He also reports the business to the stockholders and shareholders of the company. So Michael's boss has a big level of responsibility in informing that board and ensuring that the board is on side with what's being done in the company and that he is doing what they're asking them to do and that they're all in agreement. And as well, when he brings proposals or gives updates, he must also provide facts, numbers, information. He must show that the company is doing well and they're profiting in these projects and the approaches that they've taken. So Michael's boss really needs numbers and facts, and that's how he works. He's a very left-sided individual, thinks very logically, and whenever things get a little emotional, Michael's boss goes crazy, and that's when he starts yelling and freaking out. So now what we come to understand is that Michael is very different. Michael is actually works on his instinct, listens to his instinct a lot, uses his emotions to see how he feels around certain decisions and certain plans. And he really works like an empath out of his instinct and his inner voice. So when he works with his boss, he never presents him with facts or figures or data or anything to substantiate or corroborate why he wants to do certain subjects or projects or how he's approaching them. So Michael's inability to use facts and numbers with his boss is what causes the anxiety with Michael's boss. So it's a trigger. So Michael comes into the office, they talk about the projects. He doesn't give him any facts and numbers. Michael's boss freaks out because now he's got nothing to report to the board and he doesn't understand the progress because he's not being given data. He's not being given real hard facts. He's been giving the opinions or emotions of Michael. So the other thing that we found out about Michael's boss is Michael felt that he really hated him and that he wanted to push him out and he was just looking for the opportunity to fire him and he wanted to destroy his career. So what we found out was actually Michael's boss really liked him and really thought he was a great guy and he had a lot of talent and he felt that he brought a lot to the team and to the company. And he really sort of saw him as himself when he was young and starting out and going into engineering. And he really felt that Michael was somebody that he could mentor and help and, lead him to those promotions and lead him to a very fun, happy, fulfilled career. So, but he just couldn't understand how Michael could never get to the facts. And Michael's boss only wanted to see the best for him and for him to do as well as he could in his career. Well, Michael woke up and Michael was astonished and he couldn't believe he had remembered what he had said, his higher self had said, and he just couldn't believe it. And he woke up and he said to me, Anita, I feel like a great light has been lifted off of my chest and my shoulders, a great weight. And he said, now I understand. And now I understand what I've been consistently doing wrong and why my boss just doesn't, we don't jive. And he says, it's been all my fault. I've just not been giving him the right information. I've not been communicating to him clearly. I've not been showing him what he needs to fulfill his position, to report to the board, and ensure that this company that I'm working with is on the right path and doing well. And I said, you got it, Micheal. And he said, Anita, I'm going to course correct. I'm going to change the way that I'm doing things. And I'm going to start communicating very differently with my boss. And I'm going to start giving him what he needs before I go into these conversations. And I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the homework. And I'm going to have this stuff ready for him. And I'm even going to go a step further. I'm going to make sure that he has all this stuff down on, PowerPoint or whatever, pie charts, whatever he can do for him so that he basically can present the information and has some sort of data to the board. And I said, amazing, Micheal, you got it. You got it. You're on it. Let's go. Good luck. I wish you all the best. So about 4 or 5 months later, Micheal sent me an email. I always encourage my clients to keep in touch. I love to hear your stories, and I love to hear the success that comes out of these sessions. And Micheal said he did exactly what he was guided to do in the session. He started making all those changes with his boss. He saw his boss really change. He saw a really great relationship developing. They no longer were arguing. They were no longer at loggerheads. And he basically said to me that he was really excited because his boss had said to him that he felt he was really moving in a wonderful direction and that he could see a promotion from Micheal in the future. And I was like, wow. We went from Micheal wanting to quit his job and throw away his career and give up the best salary he'd been making to now he was about to get promoted. Well, a promotion was looking clear for him down the line in the future. What an amazing story. So that, my friends, is what QHHT can do for you. It can save relationships. It can save marriages. It can save your career. It can help you to understand if you are in the right career, are you in the wrong career? And if you're in the wrong place, what's the best direction for you? It can do so many amazing, wonderful things for you. So if you would like to book a session for QHHT in 2026, I'll leave the link down below. If you're not from Toronto, where I practice, I'll also leave the link for the Dolores Cannon website, where QHHT Past Live Regression began. The wonderful Dolores Cannon, who did thousands of sessions, helping people both physically, mentally, in their relationships, in their careers, building success. In a world today, we need a lot more than just understanding that our inner voice needs to be confirmed. We need mentorship, leadership. We need people to assess us and help us. And there's nothing better than QHHT Past Life Regression. Have a wonderful January 1st day, a wonderful New Year's Day. I wish you all the very best with a beautiful, successful year ahead of us. And if you have any questions, please reach out, as I'm always happy to hear, to guide you and lead you to a QHHT session. All the best and Happy New Year.